Welcome to the Nurture Network podcast, where motherhood meets transformation. I'm Jess Baldenhofer, certified parent coach, educator, and mom on a mission to help you move beyond overwhelm and create a deeper connection with your kids and yourself. Each episode is packed with real tools, relatable stories, and the support you deserve. Let's dive in and take another step toward the peaceful, fulfilling parenting journey you've been searching for. Hey there, welcome back to the Nurture Network. I'm so glad you're here. Today, I want to talk about something I get asked all the time. What exactly is parent coaching? Because let's be honest, it's still a relatively new idea. Some people hear parent coach and think it means someone who tells you how to discipline your kids or someone who just hands out advice like some sort of parenting guru. That's not it, at least not the way I do it. So, I want to talk honestly about what parent coaching actually looks like and why it works, why I've seen it work, and what happens when a mom has real support, not from someone judging her or projecting on her or trying to fix her, but someone who's helping her see what's really going on beneath the surface for her child, for herself, and walk through it differently. Here's the truth. Parenting is harder now than it's ever been. And not because we're not doing something right, but because so many of us are trying to parent differently than how we were raised. We know more now about emotional health, nervous systems, brain development, respectful communication. We've read the books. We follow all the right Instagram accounts. We save every reel with tips about connection and co-regulation and attachment styles and calm down corners. And so we try the scripts. We try the deep breathing. We try to stay calm. We try to talk to our kids in a more respectful way, not yell, not threaten, not shut them down. But then we get pushed past our limit because we don't see the behavior changing. The whining doesn't stop. The defiance keeps coming. The baby won't nap. Someone spills their smoothie on the floor after you just cleaned it. And all that calm, conscious parenting energy, it goes right out the window. We yell, we threaten, we shut it down to get through the moment. And then we go to bed feeling like garbage, feeling guilty, resentful, frustrated, being so hard on ourselves, wondering why we can't seem to make it work. I've been there. This was me before I found Jai, trying to do it right, trying to be peaceful and respectful, emotionally attuned, and still falling into the same cycle of reactivity and disconnection. But here's the thing. Trying to parent differently without support is kind of like trying to run a marathon with no training and a backpack full of bricks. It's not that peaceful parenting doesn't work. It's that most of us are carrying old patterns, old beliefs, and way too much pressure to get it right all the time on our own. That's where parent coaching comes in, not as another strategy or script, but as a space to slow down, reflect, reconnect with yourself, and actually build the skills and self awareness that create lasting change. In the rest of this episode, I'm going to walk you through what coaching really looks like, how I work with moms, and why your relationship with your child, not your parenting performance, is the thing that changes everything. So let's talk about what parent coaching really is and what it isn't. First of all, it's not a parenting class. It's not how to get your kid to listen in 3 easy steps. And it's definitely not about being perfect or turning into some idealized, always calm, always patient version of yourself. In fact, it's one of my core beliefs that the more comfortable we become with our own fallibility and our own flaws and our own difficult feelings and difficult behaviors, the more comfortable we become with our child. Parent coaching is also a relationship. It's a space where you get to show up exactly as you are, messy, unsure, frustrated, burnt out, and start to make sense of what's really happening underneath that. Here's what it looks like. We slow down, we talk about your day, we talk about the hard moments, the triggers, the times you lose it. And instead of trying to fix them, we get curious. We look at what beliefs are running the show. What did you learn about emotions, control, boundaries, connection? And are those beliefs helping you now or getting in your way? What do you need to feel resourced and regulated enough to parent the way you want to? And then we build from there, not by slapping on new strategies, but by working from the inside out, because not all the same strategies or tools were built for you or your individual child. A big part of this work is reconnecting with yourself, understanding your nervous system, listening to your body, getting clear on what kind of parent you want to be, and also what kind of life you want to live, because parenting does not happen in a vacuum. We look at your relationship with your partner, if you're partnered, your relationship with your body, your values as a family, your support system or the lack thereof. We build awareness, tools, confidence, the ability to reset. And maybe most importantly, we work on giving you what you need emotionally so that you're not constantly outsourcing that to your child. So many moms I talk to are working, parenting from an empty bucket. So when I work with a mom, I don't come in with an agenda. You decide what's most important in your relationship with your child, whether that's yelling less, navigating sibling conflict, handling big feelings, or just feeling more grounded and connected in your day to day life. Lots of moms are sort of getting it right in their parenting approach, but they themselves are completely burnt out, disconnected from who they are anymore. And we really work to get back to yourself. And no topic is off limits. There's no judgment. I have heard it all. Some moms come to coaching because they're constantly butting heads with their strong willed child. Others are dealing with anxiety, guilt, their own overstimulation, or just feeling like they've lost themselves in motherhood. We create a safe space, a safe container where you can be honest, reflect, share your wins, your challenges, your growth, and I reflect back what I see, what I hear, not to criticize, but to gently shine a light on the patterns that might be keeping you stuck. It's about building your capacity to observe, interpret, and respond instead of just reacting. And it's about learning really how to trust yourself again. I also provide education and resources when you want them, whether that's understanding your child's developmental stage, working through your own childhood dynamics, or navigating neurodiversity in your family, but you really drive that interest and curiosity. So, I want to give you a few examples so you can see what this actually looks like in real life. But please go back and listen to my second episode of the Nurture Network, where I interview one of my longest standing clients, Sarah. And she's so honest and open about her challenges as a parent and her how parent coaching has supported her along the way. A few other examples. So, one mom I worked with had a 4-year-old who pushed every single button she had. They were stuck in a constant cycle of power struggles over what to wear, what to eat, even how to get in the car. She felt exhausted and defeated and kept blaming herself. What we uncovered with compassion was that she had such a fear that if she didn't do all of these things, everything would fall apart. That belief had her trying to control every little thing, which only made her daughter push back harder, but it also made her so exhausted. So, through our work together, she started to see her child differently. She also learned how to recognize when she was dysregulated and how to reset before things spiraled. With new tools and a new perspective, their relationship softened. There was more cooperation, more laughter, more trust. Another mom came to me because bedtime was a disaster. And I want to pause here for a second to say I am not a sleep expert. However, challenges in parenting show up around sleep. They show up around eating. They show up around getting out of the house. They show up around school. So some of the same things can keep coming up, even if the topic is different. So this mom was having a really hard time with bedtime with her child. It started with dinner and it just unraveled. She was snappy, exhausted, and completely touched out by 7 p.m. This was when her child wanted to connect with her the most. And it was also so understandable that this mom was just completely depleted by 7 p.m. We talked through her whole evening routine, but we went deeper. What became clear was that she was not getting enough support. She was carrying the full emotional load of the household. Sometimes the work I do isn't just about parenting skills. It's about helping moms recognize when they need to ask for more help, when their boundaries are too fluid, whether that's from a partner, a family member, or even another professional. We worked on how to communicate her needs, how to stop minimizing her needs, and how to set up realistic systems that gave her breathing room. Bedtime changed, but more importantly, she stopped running on fumes. A third client had a neurodivergent child with sensory sensitivities and intense emotional reactions. She was trying to do everything right, but constantly felt like she was failing. The online advice was overwhelming. She was burned out and second guessing herself constantly. We worked really hard on tuning out the noise, building her confidence in what worked for her child, even looking into OT and finding a place where her child could get some occupational therapy and some sensory support outside of the home. And I helped her create clear guidelines and structure that helped her child feel safe. And when we talked about her own nervous system, how to stop living in a constant state of hypervigilance and instead lead with calm, clarity, and presence, it really changed things for her. Parenting her child was still intense, but it stopped feeling impossible and she started to feel empowered again. Parent coaching is not about raising perfect kids. It's about raising whole, messy humans and being comfortable with your own whole, messy humanness in the process. You don't need to get to some super parent finish line. It's not about becoming a perfect parent. You just need the tools to reset when things go off the rails, the awareness to notice when your nervous system is fried, and the confidence to say, I don't have to do this alone, and to know when you need extra support and help. Because your relationship with your child is the real game changer. It's the foundation that sets the tone for everything else, their self worth, their communication, their ability to navigate hard things. I'm a big believer that every relationship is an invitation to learn more about ourselves. So, as parents, we do want to guide our children and teach our children, and we do need to give them guardrails and structure that help them learn how to be humans in this world. But I think we also miss this opportunity sometimes to really learn about ourselves in these reactions and interactions with our child. And oftentimes with moms, I see them not having enough compassion for themselves, which can result in less compassion for their children too. So if you're feeling stuck in the cycle of trying everything and still feeling like it's not working, I want you to know this. It is not you. You're not broken. Relationships are inherently messy and charged and difficult, and you're doing the best you can with what you've been given. And if you want to try something different, or if you want to make changes in your home, or you feel like the way you're parenting isn't aligned with your values, or you feel that gap is so big, I'd love to walk that path with you.
Now, you might be wondering what it actually looks like working with a parent coach. When I work with clients, we usually start with a 6 session container. That's the minimum. And it gives us time to really get a sense of where you are, what's showing up in your parenting, what your strengths are as a parent, and where you would like to go. Most of my clients end up doing 12 sessions or more, not because you're failing so much, you need a lot of time, but because this is deep work. You're rewiring your brain. You're breaking patterns that have been around for decades. That does not happen overnight, and that's okay. We're not slapping a strategy on top of a stressful situation. We're building actual new neural pathways, new ways of seeing, responding, calming, leading, and new ways of really understanding your child. And it takes time, and that time is worth it because it will last your entire relationship with your child. This is not just about what it's like at their specific current age. You're learning tools and processes that can be used at any age and throughout their life. That means I'm working with you to help you feel more confident in your own process, more connected to your own instincts, and more clear in your values. So that long after we finish working together, you're able to handle hard moments with confidence and clarity, even when things get messy, even when you're tired. One thing I always like to say is this: if someone out there is selling themselves as a parent expert with all the answers, someone who says, just follow my method and you'll never have a hard moment again, that's a red flag because real parenting doesn't work that way. Every child is different. Every family is different. Every parent has their own story. And what you really want is a support and guide that it's going to reconnect you back to yourself and your child, not a support and guide that is going to make you dependent on that other person. The goal is not needing that other person. The goal is reconnecting back with yourself and your own strength so that you can do this on your own. And sometimes the work we do together is also about helping you see the right moments to ask for more help, whether that's from your partner, your community, a therapist, or a specialist. It's not all on you. You're not supposed to do this alone. So you want to be reconnected to yourself and your own confidence and instincts, but you also want to know where that line is and when you need support and when you need guidance from others. So, the work we do together is about building confidence, self trust, and support systems you need, not just to survive the next tantrum or bedtime battle, but to truly lead your family with calm, connection, and purpose.
Thank you for being here. I'll see you next time on the Nurture Network.
Thanks for listening to the Nurture Network. If this episode resonated with you, subscribe so you won't miss the next one. Share it with a fellow mom who might need it too. Until next time, remember that nurturing yourself is the first step in nurturing your family.